Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. LoFi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License Lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Welcome to Season 3 of Crimes, Conspiracies, and Beyond.
How do you like that, Jedi? That's from one of our listeners.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty funny. We've been getting a lot of messages lately. Now, Joe, this guy that did that message there, did a little introduction, he's the guy I sent you the picture of the bear. Now,
Yes.
If you see a dead bear, is there any chance you're going to skin and hide, tan it, and process the claws?
Very, very unlikely. Yeah.
It's a different life the Native Americans lead than us. Jedi, you saw those pictures, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of does make sense. They basically do it to honor the animal. They said an animal shouldn't be laying in a ditch. They want to do all they can to preserve the body and make the best of it. So they make jewelry out of it and stuff, the claws. Thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. So thanks for listening, Derek. Now, Jedi, you had texted me the other day about MeghanMarkle. What is up with that?
Oh, apparently she just had her new podcast out, Archetypes, and I don't know. I don't think it was a hit amongst a lot of the listeners. She came across very entitled.
Yeah. But didn't you say that beat Joe Rogan?
Yeah, for the top spot. That's what some article said.
Doesn't that blow your mind, Joe?
Yes. Yes, I'll be quite honest. I find MeghanMarkle to be one of the least intriguing people on the planet.
Exactly.
I agree.
I would not want to hear her opinion on anything except for the royal family. And since I couldn't give a crap about the royal family, there would never be a need for me to listen to her.
Yeah, that's wild, Jedi. Joe Rogan type ratings.
I know, right? But who knows? I mean, her book had high ratings and then it went down afterwards, or her show or whatever it was that she had, and then it got canceled, and I don't know. I don't know if this is just hype or paid ads or paid bots putting her on the top spot. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, so people said she came across being entitled?
Yeah, because she compared her marriage to the release of Nelson Mandela, that everybody was in South Africa. I guess she said someone told her this at the Lion King theater play. And they told her that people were dancing in the streets when she got married to Harry, and equated it to the release of Nelson Mandela.
Oh, wow. Now, Joe, you don't know anyone that would listen to this show, do you? Because I don't.
No.
Who are these people?
Well, I can't even imagine. They're probably, I would have to guess, all British.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, her first guest was Serena Williams, and she kind of like cut her off at times too. So that was pretty strange.
Oh, you know what? Actually, Jedi, I heard about that wretched interview where she didn't let Serena answer any questions.
Yes, that was her debut podcast.
Interesting. Hey, everybody. I have like the world's most important guest right now. I mean, dude, short of Brittany Griner, is there a female athlete that you would rather talk to right now than Serena Williams, who's winning matches she shouldn't be winning at her last U.S. Open?
Yeah, that's insane that she won last night. Joe, I always think of what we said about Serena that time. So say you're like someone that grew up on a Croatian farm and your goal is to get the Olympics, and you get there and they open up the curtain and behind is you're playing Serena Williams.
I mean, isn't that like your worst nightmare as an amateur, that you're going to show up and like the greatest person to ever do it is the person you're like, dude, come on, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, man.
Like, LeBron James shouldn't be in the Olympics. It's such a joke. It should be amateurs.
When we sent the dream team to Spain, and everybody was like freaking out about it, that was my first thought, Todd. I was like, dude, like, some of these countries in Europe, they just started playing basketball like 2 years ago. We don't need to send Larry Bird and Michael Jordan over there. Like, come on.
I know.
That's
it was
so
fun
ridiculous.
It was fun to watch, though. Yeah.
But now look at it, right? Now they're like real competitive games. These dummies lose sometimes.
I know.
Oh.
So Jedi, I know. So Jedi, the other thing is, I told you I had a flight delayed, a flight canceled. My friend was just stuck in Aruba for 2 extra days. Now, were you the one that told me that like the pilots are striking?
Yeah, I think so. Well, people don't want to work anymore. That's part of it. No, I told you that they were short staffed. They can't find flight attendants either. It's overall, the pilots and the flight attendants and staff in general.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Something weird is up with that.
I'll be honest. Do we really need flight attendants at this point?
Yeah, it'd be good with maybe one. You probably don't need like 4 or 6 on there.
Don't you want hand-delivered peanuts?
Jedi, I ring out my own groceries for crying out loud. Like, right? Like, just where's the mini bar? I can mix myself a drink, grab a bag of nuts, and like sit down myself. I don't need anybody walking up and down the aisle.
They are more than flight attendants. They're there for our safety. In case
I don't
the plane
pay attention
goes down.
to any of the spiel at all. I am totally zoned out.
They're supposed to be equipped to save us if the plane is going down. Don't you want someone, in the mad chaos to be level-headed and direct you to where the exit is?
What? You make a good point. Here's the problem. You got like a 99.8% chance you're going to die in impact. So it doesn't really matter what the flight attendant does or knows.
Unless you have Sully flying the plane.
Unless you have Sully. Dude, you know what would be like the worst thing? You like survived a plane crash. Everybody dies but you. You wash up on shore and you're paralyzed.
Oh my gosh, Joe.
Oh, this is awesome. Great. Glad I survived. Just lay here until either something eats me or I starve to death lying here in the sun on the beach. At the tides, that'll be great.
Joe, on my last flight, there was an Amish family. And just like how they get dressed, it must take forever. They're all like have the hat on and stuff. And it just made me think that at the end, and if there's nothing going on after, wouldn't you be like, oh, why did I just do all this and drive around a horse and buggy and have no electricity for nothing? Because there's a good chance religion doesn't matter.
Did you say they were taking a flight?
Yeah, they're on the plane.
Oh, so they're at least they're like, all right, we got to get places. And that horse and buggy, like, I don't have a month to get there. I got to get there now.
Aloha, Morks. Jedi here, still in Hawaii with Todd and producer Joe at Crimes, Conspiracies, and Beyond. There's no denying that information is power. But why would anyone be so compelled to hand over all their personal data where it would be open to sharing, hacks, and even selling? Privacy matters. Let's talk about these genetic and ancestry websites, shall we?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if you guys are for or against this. But before we get into that, Jedi, you want to tell us a little bit about what Ancestry.com is?
Well, it's an American genealogy company where it's a website where you find family members. It traces back your genealogy. It was founded in 1996 and headquartered in Utah. But since 2021, it's now owned by GIC Private Limited, which is a Singaporean company, and the Blackstone Group, which is an American company. So,
yeah, I have a funny story. Have you guys done this?
No, hell no.
Oh, okay. So I see where you stand, but
Yeah.
probably about 10 years ago, Joe, we're Swedish. We go to our Swedish family parties every year. We're all about Sweden. All of our cousins' names have the double S in it. It's Anderson, Pearson, everything. We know we're Swedish. My sister got the test back, and we were like 80% Irish. So my sister the next day went and got an Irish tattoo. She has like an Irish tattoo on her wrist.
Wow.
So I have 3 sisters. My other 2 sisters and I were together, and we're like, what is up with this? My sister's like, I've been to our cousin's house in Sweden. We know we're Swedish. We make Swedish bread. We do everything. We're Swedish. So about a week ago, my sister texted me and she said, just got an update from Ancestry.com. I guess the more people do it, it kind of like dilutes your results and it kind of changes a little. So now our Swedish heritage is up there with my sister's results. So I want to get mine done.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
hilarious.
It's kind of, yeah, I know exactly. I'm like, oh, we might be a little bit Irish, but we're not fully Irish. So Jedi, you don't like it, huh?
Hell no, I'm not going to put my information out there or any of my, generations to come.
I mean, Joe, I probably should have saw the writing on the wall. I think we should know Jedi would not be into this type of thing.
Oh, yeah, I 100% knew she was not going to be down for that at all. It's funny, I have I'll just say that he's a brother, and he's a little on the racist side. And I haven't had mine done, but several of my family members, brothers, sisters, my kids have had their thing done. And there was a lot more sub-Saharan African than he was comfortable with. Yeah. My family's always been under the disillusion that we're one side's all Italian, the other side's all Portuguese. And yeah, that's not how it works.
So Jedi, I looked it up, you get the 50% from your parents, and then your grandparents somehow make up another 50%, which it doesn't have to be 25. But if you're like 2%, like what do you say that was, Joe? Sub-Saharan or something?
Yep.
So that means it would be like the 4th grandparents, your great grandparents, and then it goes down from there if you're less and less than that.
But why is it necessary? Why do you have to know this if you're 0.50005 Swedish, Todd? Tell me.
Oh yeah. See, that part of it I don't care at all about. I'm more into like solving crimes part of it is what I like. I don't care about what I am. I mean, I know what I am.
But they share your information.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't. My sister is crazy with this. She's meeting relatives. She's going to lunch with them. She's on the phone with them. It's crazy. I called her tonight to tell her we're doing the show, and I said, like, so what do you know about this? Because she's into it. She goes, oh yeah, I went out to eat last week at the 99 with someone she met on Ancestry, because you get updates saying this person could be a potential cousin, and then you start emailing back and forth.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to meet people that I don't want to meet.
That's very reasonable. Dude, is it like all you need is like, right? Like you're gonna meet like your stepsister that you didn't know your dad was cheating on your mom like most of your childhood. Like you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like you don't want those problems. The more you put yourself in the database, they're gonna find you, Jedi. You know they're gonna find you.
Well, I'm not going to make it easy for them. I'm not going to put it on a silver platter. They're going to have to do their job and hunt me down.
Yeah, that is the one thing I don't like about this. Like, I had a great life growing up, and what if I took this and found out my dad wasn't my dad? That would screw me up.
Yeah,
you know
big
what I mean?
time.
Yeah, and that definitely happens to people. That's one of the downfalls. So Jedi,
so
like,
you guys have no problem with them sharing your data with big pharma and everything else.
Jedi, I don't know if you get your prescriptions filled at CVS or Walgreens, but I'm pretty sure Big Pharma's already got your info from the pharmacy. Jedi, I'll tell you this. Ever since I heard that they caught the Golden State Killer because of the DNA test at 23andMe, I'm out. Not helping.
Right?
See, that's the whole reason I like it. Because of that stuff. These people who did something 30, 40 years ago, now they're all sweating.
Yeah, in my family,
but that's how they sell it to us.
Yeah, my family, we were very
good.
Yeah, you can't rat in my family. That was a big thing. We talked a lot about that. So I don't want to. I can't implicate anybody.
Yeah, didn't you tell your son you got his back if anything happens? I think you told me that once before.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about what's that laundry guy that killed that girl Gabby Petito.
Oh yeah. Laundry, right on.
Yeah,
Brian
like
Laundry.
They're like their parents are hiding something. Obviously, I mean, it's your kid.
Yeah, of course. You're gonna put your kid on the lam.
Yeah,
you're doing it.
So Jedi, when we always talk about how our phones are listening to us and stuff, I looked up today, not too long ago. There's an animal one called Wisdom Panel. Did you know that? Ancestry.com for animals.
Why?
Joe, you can. And it's funny. It says they can check the breeds. Find your dog's relatives was one of the bullet points.
I know a lot of dumbasses that would totally sign up for that. A lot. Oh, I should work there. That should be my job. I could sell that to stupid people.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Facebook a few minutes ago, and now I'm already getting ads for Wisdom Panel. They just know. It's friggin' unreal. Find your dog's relatives. I mean, there are people out there, Joe, like you said, who like, oh, his brother is over here. Let's like get them together for a play date.
I feel like my wife would totally want to find out who her cat's relatives are. I'm serious. She's a very smart person, but that sounds like something she'd totally be down for. And how much is it? Only $100? Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, it was like it's more than the human one. So Jedi, what's the difference between Ancestry.com and Ancestry DNA? That's the DNA is one you do the swab.
Yeah, you turn in your spit, I guess. That's how they do it. And they check your DNA and they share that information. You know, if you opt in, I think they recently changed it. You have to opt in for research and law enforcement sharing. But before I think that's how they caught the Golden State Killer, is that, you know, they shared the information and that's how they found them. Yes, I do agree that was a good thing, but you know, I just don't want to give up my privacy. I'm going to fight tooth and nail.
You know what's crazy about the Golden State Killer? They had a family tree of 1,000 people, right? And they just kept like whittling away at it, like knocking people off because of their age or their location. And they whittled it down to one person, that I think Joseph D'Angelo. But that's pretty impressive. 1,000 people and you get it down to one and you know who the killer is.
Well, I think it just goes to show, and I know we've talked about this, the three of us, before, that science works, that they're not just guessing this stuff, like that there's a process. And listen, this is what makes science so amazing. The answer is always the same answer. That's how you know you've done something right with science. And so clearly they've been able to I think I told you guys a few weeks ago in Iceland, they've been tracking everybody who's lived there since they first settled that place in like the year 700 or 800, whatever it was. They have a very careful DNA, and they've actually recently introduced other people. They've asked other people to move to Iceland because they're very concerned about the lack of diversity in the genes. That they're getting a little inbred.
Yeah.
And there's not enough gene variation because of how inbred they've been for the last few hundred years.
Speaking about inbred, Jedi, I think there might be some in Indiana there with that Our Father Netflix documentary.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Did you watch it?
I did. I feel like we might have spoken about it before. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but
yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but they didn't use ancestry.com. The woman who found out that the fertility doctor was really her father, they used 23andMe, another website that's similar to Ancestry DNA.
Yeah,
and
I'm surprised.
Sibling count is almost 100. Did you see that?
94. I saw that.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what his end game was. What was he trying to do? I don't understand.
He was trying to be like Nick Cannon, but at least Nick Cannon is doing it in public and letting people know, it's not a conspiracy with Nick Cannon.
Yeah, so basically, if no one's heard about this, people would come in to get artificial insemination, and he would go in the back room and end up like inserting his semen into them, and no one knew, and everyone's everyone's in the same town. They all live 20 miles away, and God knows if they're marrying each other, and you know what I mean,
right?
And
he got like life right there.
He got like a slap on the wrist, Jedi.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't believe it. What was it? $500? He and 1 year probation, but he did lose his medical license.
Yeah, it was a felony. I know that.
Yeah.
And on the movie, the part that pissed me off the most is the girls were calling him and they were recording the phone calls, and they were going to come out with it like in the news, and the guy's like, "Please don't say anything. My wife will be mad at me."
You think?
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Crazy. And he has children of his own, right? He had kids of his own. So,
2 kids.
So bizarre.
I'm always amazed that Ancestry.com, it's such a popular business. How come they didn't corner the industry? How are there always more places? You know what I mean? 23andMe, MyHeritage, Find My Past. I always wonder how people can just do that.
Well, I think both companies use GED Match. It's an online service for DNA. I mean, supposedly they have over 1.45 million DNA profiles.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know they have, there's been 20 million of those kits taken.
And people willingly take this and send in their data.
Joe, Jedi would have to. You'd have to have a gun to your head, Jedi. I think. Jedi, what would you do first, this or Alexa?
None. I'm not gonna bug my own house.
So the pros are Ancestry. You'll know about your ancestry. You can have connection to your roots, like my sister messages everyone. You can find out about like good and bad genes in your family's past, and you can find out about health risks. Those are the good ones. The bad ones, Jedi, are privacy issues and hacking. And the ugly ones are the one I was talking about with Joe earlier, how you learn this stuff that you never needed to know. And you can't unforget that if you hear something, you know what I mean?
No, but do you know how hard it is to change something in your health records if it's wrong? And there is such a high rate of error having your DNA or your personal information out there. And the fact that, now everything with healthcare is electronic files, and they have this system, Epic, that coordinates all the the electronic health files that no one knows how to use. I mean, that doesn't bother you? Whatever.
How about this one? I want to see if Joe can figure this out. So Joe, this woman had 2 kids, right? And she filed for like welfare. Now they had to do a genetics test, and she wasn't the parents of her 2 daughters. She said, I am the mother. So they were going to try to get her for fraud because she filed for welfare. So she said, okay, well, I'm pregnant now. You can bring a volunteer to witness the birth. She gave birth to another child a few months later. She wasn't the mother again. She was the aunt. How do you think this happened?
She has a twin sister, an exact twin, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. She had a twin sister in her DNA. Isn't that wild?
Yes, it's so weird. Yeah, you could be cousins and also biological brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because your DNA is exactly the same, twins to twins.
Yeah, that is crazy how that can happen.
That's insane.
And I saw another one. It was
that's why your gene pool can't be too shallow. You know what I'm saying?
There was another one. There was these 2 there was this family in Britain. They took their test, and on their result it was they were a pretty good amount Native American. And they're like, how is this possible? And it turns out a couple hundred years ago, some Native Americans went over to be slaves, translators, or tribal representatives. So that's what they figured out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff with that.
A good friend of mine was strongly under the impression he was a Native American, got a Native American tattoo. He's got this big, giant wood Indian head cut out in his living room.
Yeah.
Got his DNA done. There's no Indian to speak of. No Indian at all. There was no Cherokee. By the way, that's the other thing for if you know anybody who claims that they're a Native American,
like Elizabeth Warren,
and yeah, right, and they say that they took a test and it showed that they were part Cherokee or whatever. That's baloney. You could tell if you had the blood, right, or the genes rather of a Native American. It doesn't break down into like, oh yeah, this was a Cherokee Indian and this was like, that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, right,
way at all. And I've heard people say that, and it's like,
that's
lying, totally lying.
I mean, even like I say I'm Swedish, it doesn't even come up Swedish. It comes up Scandinavian. So it's not coming up Cherokee if Sweden's not coming.
Yeah, it's not at all, dude. You're like, what's it called? I think it's called Messianic or something like that.
Yeah.
For people that were like in the Midwest back a couple thousand years ago. That's what you would be. I'm Iberian. I have a lot of Iberian in me, that's where Portugal and Spain are.
Yeah. So Joe, I dated this girl that lived like on the Mashantucket. What do you call it? The reservation.
Yep.
Yeah. So I went on a date with her. We went to Foxwoods, obviously, but I was like, so what do you do for work? She's like, oh, I'm not really working. And I couldn't understand what she meant. You know, they get like a stipend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was like 1/32 like Native American. It was, she didn't, you know what I mean?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You don't need much.
Yeah, exactly. So she said when Foxwoods first opened like 25 years ago, they were getting insane money. They were getting, you didn't have to work and you could get any tickets. Celine Dion comes, you get the tickets, but they kind of tightened it up a bit nowadays. Now that they've been there a while, Foxwoods, they just give them a couple like vouchers for lunch.
Sorry, Native Americans, your gravy train is over. Yeah. It's been a great ride.
I think she was saying like when Foxwoods first opened, they were getting like 60, 70 grand like stipend and like everything under the sun.
Wow.
But I wonder, yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's funny you say under the sun, because it was when Mohegan Sun came along that all went down.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun. Jedi, what do you have out there for casinos?
Pachanga. There's no casinos in Hawaii, but in California, there's several Indian casinos. Southern California, there's Pachanga, Barona, Viejas, San Juan, something, and there's quite a few.
Joe, have you been to Encore in Boston?
No.
Oh, that's it's been around for a couple years. I've never been there. So Jedi, how's Hawaii?
It's hot and humid. It's nice though. I'm going to the beach. So.
Joe, did you see it was going to dip into the 40s tonight?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it was weirdly warm today, but at times chilly.
Yeah, totally.
Weird. It's a weird day.
Yeah,
for September 1st, it was oh yeah, it's fall now. Great.
Yeah, right. I golfed this morning and I'm I could have brought my windbreaker. It was such a great day.
Yeah.
It was a nice breeze.
Day.
Yeah. So it's super hot out there, Jedi?
Yeah. I mean, a humid, sticky kind of hot. So
global warming.
Yeah. Whatever.
Global warming.
Get woke.
All right. So, Joe, where do you stand on this?
I won't honest to God, I personally won't do it. I think part of what I don't like is that I feel like, and as you guys were saying, the more testing they do, the better they're able to I'll wait until they get it all worked out. Just want to plug in. I've seen my own children and I've seen my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And there's such a wide variation that I feel like I had an uncle who literally did a paper family tree. He went to Italy, spent 20 years in Italy researching the family. And yeah, it was crazy. I'm more into that.
Yeah.
Than
that's great. That's impressive doing that.
That was super cool. Yeah, spitting in a tube and you're going to guess what my spit is. You don't even know what I was eating.
Yeah, I don't trust.
It's a crude breakdown of it. It's right. It's not very exact.
No, not at all. It's I don't know. I'm not ready for this yet. It's too expensive.
Too expensive, Joe.
It's too expensive because it's nonsense. You know what I mean? I feel like I could go to 23andMe and Ancestry and get very different results still. And that, to me, that makes it too expensive.
Oh, yeah. If you're brother and sister, your results will not be the same, and they should be.
Yeah. Or you would think pretty damn, my brother and my sister, we look alike. You would think it would be, I would think within a relative amount of a degree that we would share the same genetic makeup. How could we not? I mean, unless they're not really my siblings, which would be awesome, but I don't think I'm going to get that lucky here. I know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was like when my sister did it. She goes, "Why don't you do it?" I'm like, "Well, I don't need to now that you did." She's like, "Oh, no, the results will be different." I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
Right.
If the results are different, it's because your dad is not the same as my dad. Right. So we don't want to know that.
What if you win the lottery? Do you want all those relatives?
I think a lot of people are doing 23andMe to try to find their relatives. You know what I mean? I'm down on my luck. I sure would love to meet your old cousin Jedi out in Hawaii.
Oh, hell no.
Right? All set. You stay on the mainland.
And another thing, Ancestry, I think it's $1 billion company, Jedi. And I'm always amazed, when I watch Shark Tank, how Mark Cuban will want, why do you want more work? He's going on to buy more companies. Did you see all the things they acquired? They do find a grave. They do a military. You can find military, newspaper.com. People are obsessed with this type of thing.
Mark Cuban's such an amazing businessman. He just doesn't ever take a break.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. So he does have to worry about money. You know what I mean?
Clearly.
But he probably has 500 businesses.
Yeah, dude, think about how much money he loses in any given day. at some of those businesses, right? Some of his investments. I'm sure it's surreal, but he's comfortable.
Yeah, you think? He said he's down on Shark Tank. He's
He
down
is.
Lifetime. Oh yeah, I saw an interview not too long ago.
Well, he's making bad deals.
Yeah. Trying to think some of the things. I watch Shark Tank all the time.
I do
Who's
like
the
that show.
most-
Nothing sticks out in my head. I just love
Yeah.
I love them because there's so many weird people who come on there. I like people that have the balls to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pass on your deal, sharks.
Yeah, it's like I want 25%. No, I'll give you 20. Sorry. It's like, are you insane? But you gotta have
Right.
respect. You gotta respect that.
Mark Cuban
Right.
will be your partner for 5% more and give you like $1 million. Like, nah, I'm gonna hold out for what? What better deal are you? You're gonna leave Shark Tank and what? Warren Buffett's calling? Like you blew it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think any of those companies are blowing up after when you walk away from a deal like that.
Well, no, right? I mean, again, I think part of it is if you see somebody who runs a business make the worst decision of all time on national television, why would you want to work with that person? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I already know how dumb you are. We're good. We'll pass.
And I've seen a couple times like the person would blow it, and Mark Cuban's like, "Well, the important thing is you learned a lesson." It's the guy's like 50 years old, and he's saying that to him.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a great show. But there was just something on there a couple years ago. The guy had it was a breathalyzer that hooks up to your phone. You plug it into your phone, you breathe into it. So they gave him $1 million, and Mark Cuban said he was following this guy on Instagram, and every picture he'd be like in Belize and Vegas and everywhere. And Mark Cuban sent him a message and said, "Hey, you're supposed to be working." He's like, "No, I'm networking." He ended up losing all the money.
Oh my
So,
god. He lost
yeah,
$1 million.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But so what else do we have in Ancestry? Anything else, Jedi, you want to talk about?
No, what's your
Besides-
take on it? That you're for it?
I'm more for it for the crime thing, because like we said, Joe, when you said who even knows if it's right because you're spitting in it, but they seem to have like the crime thing down, figuring out the crimes.
Well, so right again, to just make a match one person to right your stuff to your stuff, you spit and I get another one of your samples just to compare it. That's again, you can get two pieces of rope and look at them and see the similarities under a microscope and tell if they come from the same strand or not. So that part I get, blood and saliva and semen are things that are obviously they can look at and match up. Now, when you start talking about multiple generations of gene selection, and I mean the recessive, there's a lot cooking here. I don't know that you just threw it into a computer and it's pulling. I don't even understand how it could work. And I read a book about the Human Genome Project, so like I understand genetics and I understand DNA tracing. I, for the life of me, don't understand what it is that they're doing. Again, that's pulling out like, you're from this part of like baloney. How could you know that? I could see you being like, you're definitely Asian.
Yeah. Now, Joe, what about that guy that went around Italy for 20 years? That must be kind of a slap in the face for him once you can just spit in a cup now.
Yeah, right? This guy like blood, sweat, and tears. You want to hear the funny part? He was my uncle by marriage.
Right.
And his wife had died. And he showed up at a funeral for somebody, and no one had seen him in like 20 years. And he was like, I've been in Italy. I traced your whole family. And that's how I found out I'm a descendant of Christopher Columbus. World's greatest marauder or the world's worst explorer, your pick.
Yeah. So, yeah, you told me that before. How did you figure that out? From him?
He did it. Yeah. He traced it all the way back. Yep. To Genoa.
Man, so he's going back hundreds and hundreds of years.
Dude, and I mean, like, again, most of it was just birth certificates and documentation of the family. We kind of knew where we were from, and from there he was able to trace it and figure that out.
I'm surprised somewhere along the way he didn't like hit like a roadblock and not find something and couldn't go any further.
He may have and just lied about it. Well, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, it's just like this thing. You spit in it, and they're like, I don't know. Look him up on Facebook. He's white. What is he, Irish? Yeah, tell him he's Irish. 88% Irish, 12% Swedish. Call it a day. Charge him $100.
So Jedi, we have a couple of shout outs this week. We finally had someone ask the question, what does Jedi mean when she keeps saying mork? I was waiting for someone to finally ask that. What would you say?
Wow,
How are we on the entering the third season before somebody was like, all right.
Yeah.
He's calling us morks. What does that mean?
Oh man, because crimes, conspiracies, and beyond. And the beyond is all about morks, inspired by Robin Williams, of course.
Mork and Mindy. That was Matt. That was Matt that asked that. I'm gonna send him a little something.
Yeah, Matt. What do you call yourself? How do you refer to yourself as a follower of the show? Do you say I'm a crimes, conspiracy, and beyonder? Are you I love to call this show for short CCAB.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else does that. I always write it down as CCAB. It's one of my favorite things. Too. Yeah, do you? Yeah. I love CCAB, CCAB. I think people should know this too. Jedi decided she was going to call you morks before the show ever even started. Before episode 1 was in the bag.
Yeah.
She was like, what do you think of morks? And I was like, for what? What do you mean? For like, we'll call them like, and I was like, all right, maybe. And it only took them 3 years to notice and finally ask about it. Awesome. That's great.
61 episodes. And we also get a message from Lindsay, and then we get a message from Chris Lee, who also has a podcast similar to ours. Him and his wife talk about this type of stuff, and it's called Stop Thinking with Your Butt. So they kind of talk about the same thing with a little sense of humor like us. So check out that podcast.
Stop talking with your butt. Oh, I get it.
Wait. I think it's stop thinking. With your butt.
Stop thinking with your butt?
Yes.
I don't understand that now. I think what I said made more sense.
Yeah.
But good luck with your podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a reference to like talking out of your ass.
Oh yeah, right. But no. It's thinking out of your ass.
Thinking out of your ass. Apparently your head is up your ass. That's how you think out of it. Got it.
All right, so we learned Joe is out. I'm kind of on the fence, but kind of in, and Jedi is way out on this.
Very much so.
And still,
if I knew they weren't sharing this stuff with the coppers, I'd definitely be more interested.
See, it does bother you on some.
It does. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jedi, you know I'm going to get Ancestry.com stuff all of my phone now that we've been talking about it and looking it up.
I know, right?
Oh.
So check us out on Crimes, Conspiracies, and Beyond on Facebook. I'm going to get us up on Instagram. And Jedi, big surprise, we've been booted from Twitter again.
I'm just
I'm just going to forego Twitter because you start talking about conspiracies, you can't stay on. So we're going to get back up on Instagram and check us out on Facebook.
What happened to freedom of speech?
I know. And I was thinking, check us out on Clovercrest Media. But Joe, what would happen if one day you were like, I want to do a new career? Would all these podcasts be kind of screwed? You have like 40 something.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be in.
I know Jedi and myself, we're not doing editing.
Yeah, just stick with me. We'll be all right. Just ride this out. We'll ride this out for a while longer. We're doing all right.
Well, Morks, the end is here for confidentiality.
And that would all make sense finally.
Thanks for listening, and check us out on Spotify, Apple, Facebook, and Clovercrest Media, like Todd said. In this case, sharing is not caring. Aloha.
There's no bigger investment than home ownership, and to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit Shamrock Home